What's going on, team? What's going on? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is July 7th. And how do we find direction in a choppy market? That's what I'm going to be teaching you guys, but stay tuned. Let's jump over to the economical calendar, right? So, yesterday we had the FOMC minutes, which basically was uneventful. Nothing that we didn't know already was basically said during this minutes. It was basically a manuscript of what Powell expects of what's going on with the overall economy. And nothing was too basically alarming. The market was basically virtually unchanged, as you guys could see this morning, and we'll see in the charts in a few seconds. Today is July 7th. We have initial jobless claim numbers coming out around 8:30. That should move the market a little bit. We got Fed Bullard speaking as well. Tomorrow we have unemployment numbers, labor force rates. So nothing too exciting. Some stuff may move the overall market depending on the numbers, but what are we going to do moving forward, right? So moving forward, jumping over toward the 180-day 4-hour on the SPY, you guys can basically see what's going on over here. But before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe the video. A lot of you guys are watching and not subscribed. So overall, let's look at what's going on with this chart over here. You can see we're overall on a descending pattern, right? If I was to draw a line from the top to the bottom over here, you guys could see that we are on a descending pattern overall. So what are we going to look forward to going forward? So looking over here, we want to see we are getting some type of basically push up effect. We are below the SMA. This SMA normally acts as a resistance, right? It's like a divider. When the stock is below it or when the candles are below it, the stock is deemed more bearish. And when it starts to get above it, the stock is deemed more bullish. Right now, we are still below that 180-day SMA. These are my indicators over here. If you want to copy them, the only one I did change was the SMA, and I extended it to 180 length. Other than that, these are all the indicators I use. But moving forward, for those of you who are not new, looking at basically previous resistance levels at 386.60, you can see this level was a previous support level in the past. So definitely want to watch to see what's going to overall happen today. 180-day MACD is crossed up. It has not crossed down. RSI it's a little bit overbought. I'm not going to lie, it's overbought, but it has been more overbought in the past. So we have the opportunity to keep up this uptrend, right? We had a double bottom, right? We had a bottom over here on July 1st, and we had a bottom over here on July 5th, and we started uptrending, right? A double bottom is a bullish pattern and typically means an uptrend, right? So let's see if that uptrend continues. We need to break at least 386.60 before we can start testing that SMA at 390. So watch out for that. This blue dotted line represents the 1-year trade line, right? Why do I have that 1-year trade line represented on my basically 180-day, right? Because that is a pivot point, right? That pivot point right here is a pivot point towards bullishness. As you can see, the 1-year is crossed up. So overall, the favor is more in favor for bullishness, right? If that makes sense, favor in favor. So watch for that overall uptrend. Since the 1-year is crossed up, we are trying to hold above that 1-year trade line. So we could possibly start pushing up even towards 394. Until this basically is violated at 381, then you want to possibly look for a short position, right? Jumping back down towards the 180-day. Once we break that 381, we could basically come back down, retest this double bottom area at that 373, right? So let's jump down towards the 20-day to get a closer up picture, right? See if there's anything that we may want to watch, right? Another bullish mark that we're seeing right now, we're above that 20-day SMA, above that 20-day SMA, and that is a bullish sign. So make sure you guys set your alerts for the break of 386 for some possible upside, and set your alerts for the break of 381.90 to the downside, right? So we are basically in a range over here. It looks like it wants to be bullish range, but we got to see what happens, right? Anything can happen at the bell. 20-day looks like it wants to pull back. If we start to basically break that 383, we could start basically retesting that 381, depending on what kind of trade you're going for, right? If you're going for a bigger move, typically you want to look for levels on the 180-day 4-hour. If you're going for like a scalp or anything like that, you look at your 20-day and then you digress down towards your smaller charts, right? So moving forward to the next stock, we're going to be talking about Tesla. Leave a like, I'm dropping some gems on you guys. So moving over towards Tesla over here, Tesla is in a choppy range, right? How do we know? It went sideways, pushed up. It's hugging this 20-day SMA over here. What's going to happen? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? What are the previous resistance and support levels near it, right? So we want to watch for the break of 710. 710 was a previous support, previous resistance, previous resistance. So on the break of that 710, we could possibly break free and run towards that 732 up here. If we do start to come down, let's say the market starts to pull back, we want to watch for the break below 698 down towards 685. It's very important to start using trend lines, right? A lot of times support and resistance is beautiful, but sometimes we want to use those trend lines, right? If we was to draw a trend line from the bottom candle all the way to where the top candle is, you can see we're starting to form some type of step and staircase pattern, right? It's very strange that the stock is basically finding some type of support over here. A lot of traders are using the same information that we have right here to formulate their plans, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So let's see what happens over here. Watch for that 710. I think once we break 710 on Tesla, we could get some explosive action to the upside, and watch for that 696 before we can start basically pulling back lower. So I'm going to set alerts for either or situation. Volume has been low this week. It is to be expected, especially when it was basically Monday. We were off for 4th of July. Some people are still taking the week off. All right, next stock we want to watch is Amazon, right? Amazon, very good one to watch. You can see Amazon overall uptrend. If we were to draw a trend line from the bottom to where it is right now, step and staircase pattern as well, right? Just like we had in the past, right? Let me just get rid of this one. So watch for the break above. Actually, I got to move this line over here. Watch for the break above 115.63, then we could start going to 118. If we do start to come back down, watch for the break of 114, and we could come back down to that 112 zone, right? So another stock we may want to talk about, there's a lot of news circulating around this stock right here. This is going to be GameStop, right? They announced a 4-to-1 stock split. When is it going to happen? You heard it here first. It's going to happen 7/22, July 22. So stock splits really don't change much of the stock, right? And there's nothing special happening with the stock, but as we've seen in the past with Apple, Amazon, we've seen it with Tesla multiple times. Anytime a stock splits, there is some excitement buildup because now the stock's going to be at a lower price. And that's pretty much going to be more enticing for new investors, right? A lot of people not trying to trade GameStop at 126. And the main purpose of them doing the stock split is to get investors to get in at a lower price. They're trying to create that movement that they once had, right? So let's see what overall happens with GameStop moving forward. If we jump over towards the 20-day chart, right, you can see it's fighting that 20-day SMA. Just because a stock has good news does not mean it has to go up, right? I like to wait for the news to overall affect the stock, right? A lot of times, beginner traders, they make the mistake to hearing news, they jump in, and then the news doesn't really have too much effect, right? So what we're seeing over here with the chart is we're extremely overbought. I don't care if you got good news or not. When I see an overbought stock, I try to stay away from it, at least for the long side, right? So right now, it looks like GameStop may have a certain pullback at 125, maybe down towards the 120, maybe down towards 113. There's more room for downside than upside at this time. Let's say they start to pump this thing, right? This is not like a regular stock where this is not like a Amazon or Tesla where it needs millions and millions and millions of people to actually pump this stock. So they could actually pump this today. Let's say the boys of Reddit, they start to move this thing. So let's see what happens at the break of 130. Once we start to get above 130, you can see this long wick over here. A long wick means, hey, that stock was reaching, struggling to go somewhere and couldn't hold it, right? So we need to see a break and hold above 131, and then we could basically start pushing up towards 138, right? So watch for these key levels. I'm going to be watching this one as well, especially with that upcoming stock split, right? So I would love to see a possible pullback on this stock and then possibly buy it at these lower RSI levels in hopes of it to possibly uptrend. All right, so that's going to be it, guys. Hopefully you guys learned something. Leave a comment below. What stocks are you watching? Did I cover the stock you're watching? What stocks you're watching tomorrow? Maybe I'll throw it on the watch list as well. But use a stop loss. Hopefully you guys all have a great trading day. Make sure you guys are subscribed. If you stayed to the end, that means you guys like something that you're seeing. Make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.